Greetings, Pastor. My name is David Daroff, and I've been in ministry for most of my adult life. I have pastored churches, and now I'm working at the Marriage Recovery Center, primarily dealing with men who have narcissistic, abusive qualities to them that are hard to deal with. And many of them come out of our churches, and they come to us because we have a Christian basis in which we work from. As a pastor, I did many weddings, and people would come full of hope and joy and ready to walk into a marriage, and I'd offer counseling to them, perhaps like you do, and we would share things, and often they would raise red flags because they would say, nothing could possibly go wrong here because we are just so in love with each other. That kind of thing always worried me because I know, and you know, that things can and do go wrong with all couples, and they all need to have these things addressed. Eventually, in every relationship, the shine comes off and issues need to be talked about. So sometimes a few years after a wedding, the same hopeful couple show up at your office. The wife will complain about how her husband has become abusive and that he wants to control her, and he gets easily angered, and she may complain about him having pornography addiction or perhaps even an affair. Sometimes they become anger issues and other things like that. And so I want to talk to you as leaders about what you can do. And something that really is disturbing and we see a lot of is a thing that we would call secondary abuse. Now, I know that you pastors are caring and giving, and you have no intention to do any harm. You are an ambassador for Christ, and you take it seriously. You love your people, you faithfully serve them, and you faithfully serve Christ. But you also know that things get very complicated. In your church, there are men, good men, who at least want to be seen as good all the time, but who are in fact being abusive to their wife. They may not be beating them or causing them noticeable harm, but they are abusive. You can find them in leadership positions, and sometimes people really think they're really great guys. They're helpful. They would give you the shirt off their back. These are the men that I find myself dealing with almost on a daily basis. I attempt to help them see their wives for what they are bringing to them, and to see why they are causing these issues. Passive abuse and secret things are often things that are responses to the past, and men don't always see what they're doing. It's taken place for years in some wives, and they are emotionally suffering, and they come to you and they tell you the situation. Pastor, what are you going to do about it? Well, I unfortunately have seen too many pastors dismiss these women, and they assume that things can't possibly be that bad, and they give the wife advice to say, well, just try harder, be more loving, be a little bit more submissive, be caring, follow the scriptures. Of course that is important, but that will not solve this issue. Narcissistic abuse needs to be confronted, and it needs to be educated, and it needs to have people who know how to treat it. And if you do not pay attention to it, it becomes a secondary abuse to the wife. In other words, by making her want to change or insisting that she needs to change, you actually put the problem from her, the victim, onto you put her problem as being a victim, and her husband then just gets to continue on, and he will continue on doing that. Women complain to me on a pretty regular basis that they went to the pastor for help, but it actually did more harm. They tell us everyone sees their husband as a good man, and probably he really is. But the tendency is to suggest that something must be wrong with the wife, not with the husband. This minimizes her feelings and what she is putting up with. And we may be tempted that we don't want to really get involved. We hope maybe it'll just go away. After all, this couple got married in the church. They have been supportive. They're part of your ministry. Who wants to deal with those issues? In some cases, these men are pillars of the church. They are the guys that you depend on. And I want to suggest, though, that you take their wife's complaints seriously. First of all, you need to really listen to her when she comes to talk to you about her husband. And you probably need to confront him and ask him what is really going on and hear his side of it, but recognize that he is not understanding what he is doing and that he needs to see that. Now, I know that you do not have time to really learn how to deal with narcissistic personality disorders. In addition to that, you need some help, and I would like to offer that to you. I know you don't have time or background on that. I never did as a pastor either. I had some counseling classes, I knew what I was doing, but this is a whole nother field, and it's a difficult one to navigate. So we at MRC are working with these issues every day. We've been doing it for years, and we want to help bring healing and help for these marriages. I want to invite you to give us a call. You can call me directly, and if you're struggling with a couple and you need somebody to consult with, I would be happy to do that. And if there's a couple or two or whatever you have going on and you don't have time to deal with it properly and fully, we would like to offer our services as well to approach it from a Christian perspective, to be supportive of you and your ministry, and to help bring healing and health to this marriage so that they can be actually loving and respecting each other and caring for each other and overcoming these issues. So that would be my encouragement to you. Listen carefully to the wife's complaints. Take them seriously. Don't let a man who happens to have a lot of power intimidate you, and seek out help, and we would be happy to do that for you. I hope that I can talk to you soon, and I hope to be speaking with you directly, and just give me a call, and I will do everything I can to help you understand what you're confronting and what is difficult here in dealing with narcissistic personality abuse, and so that you do not become a secondary abuser. Thanks for listening.